Hi, thank you for clicking on this video. I was talking the other day with a lady who was making her way through my book, this one. Let's see, there we go. Please don't give me something more to worry about. And the picture is a fella repelling off, well, really off the side of a mountain, but pretty dramatic. He's just kind of hanging there. And she said to me, well, tell me about the cover. So I will. Actually, I explained the title, Please Don't Give Me Something More to Worry About, in the book itself, but I don't think I talked about the image. And the image does actually mean something to me. It's an excerpt out of my life, and it seemed to relate quite well to the title. And the book, of course, is about my journey, I guess, through the grieving process, having dealt with a number of issues in succession, all of which created stress in my life and built up to the experience of grief. And then it also deals with my learnings from that process. I took training in trauma and grieving. So the book is an explanation, I guess, of the nuances of grief. I mean, we all go through it differently, but in very broad strokes, the process is the same. So the book cover is a combination of a poem that I wrote after my last visit to my oncologist, where she asked me if I wanted a brain scan. So I'm like, well, no, but I guess in further research I've done, I gather that is often done at the end of a cancer treatment. In any event, the part I didn't talk about in the book was the rappelling off the side of a mountain, which is part of my life experience. My husband and I went to an adventure camp, as it were. And one of the activities was to rappel, which I'd never done before. I'd certainly hiked, but I've never dropped down off the edge of a mountain. And I was very excited to do this. But I have to say, the experience of it, the living through it, and the anticipation of doing it can be very different things. And I often use this example, the story, as an example of we often say, I would do this, I want to do this. But sometimes when it comes to the actual choice of doing something, it isn't all we anticipated it would be. Sometimes other factors come into play that we really didn't anticipate would. So I often raise it as a point to say, well, you don't really know what the choice is going to be until the time comes to actually make the choice. And we face many of those situations in life for sure. In any event, what happened for me was on this adventure, I guess I'd say, because it certainly was for me. I'd never repelled, and I'm a large woman, I wasn't really looking forward to the idea of dangling off the end of a rope with no support and not knowing what would happen to get down to the bottom and terra firma. So anyway, I did the bunny slope, which was, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 feet of drop. And, you're all hooked up. Those of you who've done this will be quite familiar with what I'm going to say. You're all hooked up to ropes and such. And there's a person at the top of the slope who is, making sure you're not going to drop to your death. So they're holding on to the rope, they're guiding things, and it's on equipment as well. So you get hooked up to this, and off you go. So I went down the bunny slope, and the bunny slope was a pretty normal side of the mountain. You could bounce your feet off the side as you went down, and then the landing was there about 10, 12 feet below starting point. So I did that, and I was pretty proud of myself. My husband was there, and he was watching, and he was cheering, and such a supportive person. So then came time to, I think, to go back up. There was a little walk up along the side of the bunny slope. So I walked back up, went to the top. And then there were two options to do the full rappel. You could do a full rappel straight down the cliff, so you could bounce your feet all the way down to the bottom. And then there was another rappel, which was an overhang, which is really what this picture represents. There was an overhang, so you would descend from the top and then just kind of dangle on your way down. Nowhere to put your feet. You're just going to hang there. To my mind, that was more of an advanced skill, I would say. But the leader of the company that coordinated this said, he said that the drop is really beautiful. It's a beautiful view, much nicer than the standard slope. So silly me, I thought, okay, well, view would be great. Then I got all hooked up at the top of this overhang. And then, of course, all my fears came up. What's going to happen? I don't have anything to hang on to. I'm just going to hang there. My only way down is to, the rope is just hanging there. I have to make my way down the rope with my hands hanging on to it. And I was concerned. I didn't want rope burns on my hands. And if I fell, I have to say, again, you never know until the time comes what your response is going to be. Really, I kept saying, well, I'm not afraid to die. So if I fall to the bottom and I'm dead, well, okay, I'm dead. But if I fall to the bottom and I've broken a leg or broken my spine or something really dreadful happens to me, I'm going to have to deal with that for a long time, either the rest of my life or at least 6 weeks while a broken leg mends. So these thoughts are going through my head. And on the other side of it, I really, really wanted to do this. I really wanted to rappel down the side of the mountain, a new experience, something I could say, I did that. And I was afraid to do it, but I did it anyway. I really wanted that on one side, and my fears of physical, sort of longer term physical consequences of not having done it well. Yeah. Anyway, so I stood there at the top of the cliff, just so wavering between these two desires of mine, my desire and my worry. And I was I was crying, and the lady at the top of the thing doing, the staff person who was sort of controlling it, she was crying. She had another person there. They were crying. So they were all wrapped up in my particular angst, which was very sweet. But I felt badly for them. Anyway, ultimately I had to make a decision. Am I going to go down? Can't just hang here. Am I either going to go down, or am I going to go back up and take the walking path down? Well, I'd love to tell you that I went ahead with the rappel, but I didn't. I really wanted to, but I didn't. I just ultimately decided I was not in for the prospect of physical pain and long-term healing consequences. And what did it matter really anyway? So that's what this image That's what this image is all about. That is not me repelling, I will have to tell you. It's another image that some brave soul. And the funny thing was people were bouncing up and down this mountain because we weren't the only people there. And I'm just like, oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I could be that brave. But anyway, that is my example that I use when people say, you know, this is the decision I'm going to make when it comes. I'm like, yeah, and you may well. There are lots of decisions I've made that I've been afraid to make, which I've done anyway. So this is not this was an extreme example of having to go through that choice process. So I don't know if that's helping you, but certainly tells you where that cover came from. And I hope you will see enough adventure in there. I mean, the adventures I share with you in there are of a much different kind. And as you can see, I have come through this process. My husband died 6 years ago, and really the series of events that occurred before that particular one were several years in the making. And I have survived. Having made a number of choices I probably didn't want to make. And honestly, in the early days, if I could have stayed under the covers and done nothing, I would have. But that's not how life works. So anyway, I hope that tweaks your interest and that you will look for my book on my website, letstalktogether.ca. It's also available on Amazon and Kindle, and we're working on the audio version. I hope that will be available in March anyway. So thank you for watching and staying this long with me. I hope you will like this video because that tells YouTube that they can share it with more people. And if you subscribe to my channel, you will get, there are lots of videos there. I've been posting videos for a year, and I've been putting articles on Substack and LinkedIn for 3 years. So lots and lots of information for you to take advantage of, and I hope you will. Thank you.